Yo, Benny! I don't think he's home, man. Benny, man, yo. Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm MC Savant from the Kankasaurs. You can catch me on funnyordie.com/Kankasaurs, K-A-N-K-S-O-R-Z, you know what I'm saying? But right now, it's all about Benny TV. Yo, because my boy Benny the Gagoots got his own show. And I just want to give a big shout out to Benny. And in honor of that, I'm going to do a dope-ass freestyle, man. So he's got to figure out what rhymes with Benny. 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 What rhymes with Benny? Benny. What rhymes with Benny? Benny. He's the Serengeti. He's hunting for a Yeti and he's always on the ready. And Benny's always merry when he's eating his spaghetti. But right now he's in the desert, so his palms are kind of sweaty. His good friend Freddie, he brought him that Ben and Jerry. And Yetis, they love the Ben and Jerry. So Benny caught that Yeti and we all threw confetti. Yeah, Benny. Benny TV, baby.
Yeah, Benny TV, baby.
Whoa!
Happy New Year, everybody. I'm your host, Benny Rizzuti, and he's your host,
Not Benny Rizzuti. I'm Ryan Rizzuti,
Ryan Rizzuti.
also known as the Littlest Rizzuti,
The
or
littlest
Big Meech.
Big Meech.
Yeah,
Wow, that's a new one.
That's a hip hop name.
Oh, Big Meech is a hip hop name?
Yeah, you wouldn't
Oh.
know it.
No, I'm not big on hip hop. A little bit. Little
Yeah,
hip hop.
let's
Anyway,
make
a
it the
new-
hip hop show. Let's make.
Yeah, let's do a hip hop. Yeah, we'll get MC Savant there to do a hip hop song for us.
Yeah, we got the great hip hop intro.
Yeah.
We might have some more.
Would you
hip-hop
consider that
intros coming.
intro hip hop? Yeah.
No, I consider it French cuisine. Yeah.
The escargot of hip hop.
All right, well, we're already off topic.
Okay.
Hi guys, welcome to the show. We have our big, our last show was the end of the year blowout. This is our beginning of the year blowout.
A lot. The month of January is going to be a big month for us. We've got a lot of big things coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might be away. I'm going out to sea.
But when he comes back, you will see.
That wasn't supposed to rhyme. That was in the middle of a sentence.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You
No.
just made it a rhyme. No, let's just keep it with that. Let's just
All right. yeah.
keep rocking and rolling.
Let's keep rocking and rolling. Happy 2019, everybody, and a happy New Year. A lot of this past week, it was a lot of fun. Some people celebrated Christmas. Hanukkah had ended, so a lot of people got some great gifts, some great stuff. Got to see family. Got to see a lot of movies. Got a
You
great
saw
book.
a lot of movies.
I saw a lot of movies. We're going to talk about those.
I've seen more than you, but you saw a ton of movies in the past week and a half.
Yeah, week and a half. I've seen a lot of movies, a lot of new movies. Some that new to DVD, some new in the theater, and one new to Netflix.
You gotta stop saying DVD. You gotta the populace knows. It's like saying VHS. DVD's going the way of the dinosaur. We on that Blu-ray flow, but Blu-ray is gonna go too. It's all about that digital. New to digital, new to home video. You just say home video.
All right, new to home video. Okay.
You got new
to
on Laserdisc. Got some great Laserdisc films for you.
Listen, I have said this in the past. I'll say it again. I like to own it. I like to own something, whether it be a book, whether it be. I know you could do it all digital now. You could download
The
everything.
whole house is filled with 8-track tapes.
I did have 8-track tapes. I gave them to somebody who still has an 8-track player.
I don't
Okay.
think that person's real.
You know.
Nobody has an 8-track player.
All right. Anyway, movies, books.
Book-
Want to talk about a couple of books today that
Some books that you got
I got for Christmas
from somebody.
from a wonderful person.
Who could that be? I have no idea. It could be anyone. Then I want to talk about some movies I saw. I saw some movies with you
Yes.
for the end of the year. I ended 2018 beating my previous record of most movies seen, new movies in a year. I saw 73 new movies last year.
Wow.
And that list will grow a little bit as we go into January because I'll catch up with some movies from last year.
Okay.
So I kind of carry over the first month, the first month and a half up until the Oscars. I usually count because I'm catching up on everything.
Okay.
And I'll put that into last year, but I do it every year, so it kind of works out.
Okay. All right. I get that because a lot of movies that came out.
And there's not a lot of stuff coming out right now. There will be things, but there'll be probably 5 or 6 movies, and I'll probably watch 10 movies that came out last year.
Okay.
But last week I watched like 15 movies.
Wow.
I did some catch up.
Okay, so what movie you want to talk about first?
Well, let's go. I wrote down a list of the movies that you've seen in the
Okay.
past week. And this isn't in a particular order of you liking them or even when you saw them. It's just
Yeah.
in order. Let's go first. We saw The Mule.
Yes, we saw The Mule.
We saw The Mule, Clint Eastwood's new film that he directed and produced and stars in, where Clint Eastwood plays an 80-year-old man who was a florist who is down on his luck and starts running drugs for the drug cartel. And he becomes the top drug mule.
The top drug mule, yes.
He's the titular mule.
Yeah, yeah. He didn't even know what he was doing in the beginning. They just told him you drive this package, leave the car for an hour, come back, there'll be money. And when he saw the amount of money, but he didn't know until the longest time of what he was doing. Mm-hmm. So he was making good money. He was happy about that. And it was Spanish guys, but when he was a florist on his ranch, he had Spanish guys working for him. So he spoke Spanish. He learned that about him. He wasn't, I don't know if I don't want to give away too much about the movie.
Hey, you're just going to tell us the whole movie.
No, I'm not going to tell you the whole movie. I did enjoy it, but I wasn't 100% satisfied with it. I'm glad I saw it because I love Clint Eastwood's acting is great. Clint Eastwood as an old curmudgeon now, movies
That's
and
every movie he's in.
every movie he's in, but now he's older. So when he was a curmudgeon cowboy, I loved him the most. But as in Gran Torino, in Gran Torino,
You're thinking of Road to El Dorado.
Eldorado,
Completely
okay.
different movie.
Gran Torino, he was excellent. His acting was excellent. I thought he was Oscar worthy then. I think he's Oscar worthy now. It's a different character. He's still a grumpy guy. I don't know. He's a bit of a different character.
When the film started, I liked that he almost seemed like a different character than he usually is.
Yeah.
And he's different. It's hard to exactly say how, but then as the movie starts to go, within like the first half hour, he becomes the Clint Eastwood everyone knows. So at first I was like, wow, he's a very different character. And then I was like, oh no, he's Clint Eastwood. But I like the movie as well. I enjoyed it. It has a really great cast.
Amazing cast.
Diane Wiest,
Yes.
who looks just like your friend Joey Cola. I think they look the same.
Joey, forgive us. If you're watching this show, Joey, forgive us.
I've seen Joey's film, and I think they look very similar. And he should take that as a compliment. Diane Wiest is a beautiful woman.
And a wonderful actress.
And a wonderful actress.
Academy Award winning, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a great actress. And she's on a TV show.
Yeah, and Once Upon a Time in the West.
In the West.
And also Bradley Cooper. Michael Pena, and Lawrence Fishburne are the DEA going after the drug cartel.
Yes.
The leader of the drug cartel is played by Andy Garcia, and who's Andy Garcia and everything. I can't say he's great, but he's Andy Garcia.
I enjoyed him. I enjoyed the cast.
I love Andy Garcia.
I thought the casting was great. I enjoyed, like I said, I enjoyed the movie. I was a bit disappointed. I think that this is a movie I felt should have been a little longer because there was a few things I would like them to cover.
Not that longer, but I feel like there's scenes that you didn't need and you could have replaced them with other scenes.
With other scenes. All right. I'll go with that.
And there was, you and me talked about it right after we got out of the theater. There were some scenes that were leading up to setting up these certain storylines that were then just dropped on a dime and not even mentioned.
No, not even.
They were brought like halfway through, and then towards the end, they just dropped them, and they never meant. And that's one thing I really don't like in movies, when you bring up a storyline and then you just drop it. One of the biggest like transgressors, that might not be the right word, of this is the film Birdman, which is a film I love.
Right.
Birdman or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. Is it? With Michael Keaton.
With Michael
directed by
Keaton, yes.
Alejandro Inarritu. And that film, Edward Norton's in it. Edward Norton is great in the film.
Right.
He has an amazing story arc. His character is fantastic. And in the last 20 minutes, he just drops out of the movie, and they don't bring up his character anymore. And that maybe not the last 20 minutes, but the tail end of the movie, and that kind of annoyed me because I really liked his character and I really liked the things they were doing with his character. And in my opinion, it was an Academy Award worthy performance from Edward Norton.
Yeah.
And I feel like the only reason he didn't get the due that he deserved for that was because of his character not really having a conclusion. So it's not as big of a deal in The Mule, but it is something that kind of took me out of the movie a bit.
But something that we have learned watching movies now with the archaic DVDs, the Blu-rays, which are archaic now, but the one thing...
Yeah, you might as well watch a fossil.
They have deleted scenes sometimes, and sometimes you watch these scenes and realize that they were
Blu-ray
going...
combo pack. Blu-ray, DVD, digital.
Yes, but with the digital. But still, the deleted scenes will... Sometimes you'll learn with the deleted scenes that, wow, they were going to go in another direction. They were actually planning to go into it, and then they decided to just do away with that, cut that out, you know.
Oh, you know, that happens in movies all the time.
And it happens a lot. So, and you know, sometimes there's an alternate ending, but I feel that the way it just cut off and then they just focused on the Mule was that there were these other storylines, but then they
kind of just dropped them.
They kind of dropped them. And all right, you can understand it because it's a cartel, and you could say, all right, these things happen, and what.
But I think it's what separated the film from being a good film to being a great film.
All right.
It's a good film, but if you had those extra things, it would have been a great film.
Yes, it's a good film, and the acting is great. And if you're a Clint Eastwood fan, I highly recommend you do see the movie. And but I do think that you know, I feel that they could have. There were a few loose ends they could have tightened up a little bit more.
Okay.
All right. So
now let's go into the next films. I'm going to do two movies.
Yes.
One of which we've both seen, one you've just seen, but I'm pairing them both together because you watched them both this week, and they're films that are extremely similar to the point that people are saying that the newest one ripped off the one that came out earlier this year. They both came out this year. And that is the films A Quiet Place and the new Netflix film, which is the biggest Netflix movie of all time, Netflix original movie.
Wow.
45 million people watched it in a week. And that's the Sandra Bullock film Bird Box.
Bird Box.
Which I have not seen. I have seen A Quiet Place. I very much enjoy A Quiet Place, but I think, for me at least, that film was a victim of overhype, where everyone hyped it so much, I knew it was never going to reach that for me. But I still very much enjoy it and think it's a great horror film and a greatly constructed film. Now, you watched both this week?
I watched Bird Box first.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed it. And even friends of mine on social media were saying, and disappointed. And
most people don't like Bird Box.
But because they saw A Quiet Place. So, but now Bird Box is based on a book. I don't know enough about the book, but I do know it's based on a book.
It is based on a book.
Yes, it's
called Bird Box.
Called Bird Box, and it was so that to me that means the story was around a bit. It's just that in as far as making movies, they made A Quiet Place first, so people.
Yes, but the Quiet Place script was around for a while.
Okay.
And John Krasinski took it and then edited it and changed it.
Oh, all right.
So I don't really know which came first. The script might have been around for a while.
What came first?
So it's not necessarily, this stole from this or this stole from that.
Right.
From what I've seen from Bird Box, it looks like a blatant ripoff of, they just took The Happening and they took A Quiet Place and they went, how do we, and the big meme going around is, hey, can I copy your homework? Sure, just don't make it look like you copied it. And it's, the guy's homework is A Quiet Place, and the copied homework is Bird Box.
Okay.
I haven't seen Bird Box, so I'm not able to actually
all right. And I'll say, I will say, I really enjoyed it. I'm a big fan of Sandra Bullock anyway, and I thought it was a perfect role for her. I liked it. I do like those apocalyptic type of movies. And yes, it reminded me a lot of The Happening in many ways. It's very mysterious. I feel it's really also a character study. It's about Sandra Bullock's character and who she is and what she gets thrust upon her. And I will admit that it's very far-fetched. There's far-fetched that she has a blindfold and she has to row a boat for 2 days in a river blindfolded, which I couldn't do for 10 minutes. So, and with children with her. You learn this right in the beginning of the movie. So I understand it's far-fetched. I did thoroughly enjoy it, and I enjoyed how it ended. I really liked it a lot. Then I watched A Quiet Place just a few days ago. And A Quiet Place, some people say you don't learn a lot about what is the evil involved in Bird Box. All you know is there's these weird creatures in A Quiet Place. You don't know, did they come from outer space?
No,
they
that's,
did.
That's,
okay.
That's established.
That's established when the kids say
that's established.
So
you actually see the creatures. You can see the fear. You see how dangerous they can be and how quick it is to. It's just like that.
Yeah, and they work off of sound, so they know people from sound, and not only people and animals. They'll go after. They'll go after anybody, and they're just feeding on them. And it's very frightening. I really liked it. I felt like I don't want to do any spoilers about it, or should I give a spoiler alert and say,
no, you don't do any spoilers.
I was satisfied at the end of Bird Box. I was not satisfied with it was a good movie. It was a good movie, and it's far-fetched as well, A Quiet Place, but I wasn't...
Ted, none of these are going to be realistic. That's like being like, I didn't like Avengers. It was far-fetched.
No, I know they're both far-fetched stories, but...
I don't like Spider-Man. I didn't think that... I've gotten bit by spiders. I didn't get any powers.
You stop. Listen, I was disappointed.
I'm scared of bats. You don't see me fighting crime.
I was disappointed with A Quiet Place. I found it disappointing. There were things I liked about it, but overall, it was a disappointment for me.
Now, you're not the only person that said that the ending of A Quiet Place brought it down.
Yes.
I very much disagree because I thought that it was great in the fact that it set up more. It set up more that they can do with the world. It was world building, and it gives hope, and it gives more of a purpose than just, this is dread, terrible, there's nothing you can do. And in the end of A Quiet Place, it's, hey, we can try, without spoiling anything, it's, hey, we can kind of fight back.
Yeah,
there's things we can do. So it doesn't just end with, death and destruction and hopelessness. It has hope.
All right, and there is
You're
hope.
a big Superman fan. You know what that symbol stands for?
Hope. And there is hope in a Bird Box as well. There's hope. So, but
does she finally win the Miss Congeniality pageant?
She won the Miss Congeniality pageant, and what was that other wonderful movie she made? All about.
Well, now you're
All About Steve. What was that one?
Why would you ever bring... She made so many other movies. Why would you bring up All About Steve?
Because they finally resolved that movie.
No, they don't. And they did resolve it at the end of that movie. The whole movie, it's just, she's insane. And then I think at the end of the movie, they're like, she's insane. And now somebody's going to look up All About Steve now, and you brought that upon that person. It's like Samara from The Ring. You can't escape it.
Listen, that movie's so bad that even Sandra Bullock knows how bad it is.
Well, yeah, she got a Razzie, and she went and accepted the Razzie.
Not only did she accept the Razzie, she brought a copy for everybody who was at the Razzie.
Because it's the worst movie.
Worst movie ever. It is on my list of worst movies I've ever seen, I would call it.
Yeah. Why are we talking about it?
But there's other movies she's made. I love her as an actress.
You should go see Holmes and Watson. You wanted to see it so much.
We're going to talk about. We're not going to talk about Holmes and Watson.
We're not.
We're going to show a trailer for a better Holmes movie in a little while.
In a little bit, not
in
yet.
A little bit, but we're going to show a trailer about for those of you that saw Holmes and Watson.
No one saw Holmes and Watson.
Okay.
Those of you are not watching this show because those people are at therapy right now. So the next film that you saw,
yes,
we'll do. There's 3 films left. One film you saw in theaters was a film I also saw, The Aquaman.
The Aquaman.
Not the James Cameron one with Vincent Chase and James Woods. Not to be confused. Great film. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend James Cameron's Aquaman. We're talking about the new James Wan's Aquaman with Jason Momoa, Patrick Wilson, Willem Dafoe, Amber Heard, Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph Lundgren's in it.
Dolph's great. I love Dolph.
Yeah, and
Big Dolph guy.
And his mom was played by.
You can do it. I believe in you.
I'm trying.
I left you one.
I know. Why did I forget? I forgot her name of all things.
Meryl Streep.
Not Meryl Streep. Will you stop?
Imagine that though, Meryl Streep.
Well, Meryl
as
Streep.
Aquaman.
Meryl
It's
Streep
Cher.
made a lot
It's
of movies.
Cher.
And Cher.
It's
And
Cher.
Cher. No.
Nicole Kidman. Dad.
Nicole Kidman. I
is
couldn't think of
Aquaman's
it.
mother. Is what we were.
Aquaman's mother is Nicole Kidman. I enjoyed it. It's a popcorn movie. It's a superhero movie. It has a lot of everything. There are some corny moments too. It's corny in some ways. It's corny, but it's a lot of fun. It takes you exactly where you want to be with a superhero movie.
I enjoyed Aquaman. It's not the worst superhero movie of the year. It's not the best by a long shot, and I think there are some superhero films, like another one that we'll speak about later, that there's so many now and of such high quality that ones that are good and would have been really good movies 10 years ago aren't considered as good because of the glut of superhero films we have now. You know, it's like Westerns.
Right.
Some Westerns that were good Westerns got thrown to the side back in the day because they were such epic, amazing films. That's what happens when a genre is blowing up in the way it did. And the same thing with comedies in the 80s and the 90s. There's comedies that are great films that were underappreciated.
Right. That people
just-
don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't. Aquaman's making money. I'm not saying it's one of those, but it's one of those films where I feel like if it came out 10 years ago, it would be much better received than it is now. But Aquaman's a hard movie. It's a hard movie to make.
It was a hard character to get respect for because for the longest time, nobody respected Aquaman. That's why even back in the 90s, they brought in Peter David in DC Comics to try to revitalize him. And I saw Peter David in a panel discussing that he was the least respected of superheroes.
He is.
That he is, because even Saturday
Not
Night...
as much anymore, but he was. For
He
the
was.
longest time.
Saturday Night Live did a bit. All the superheroes came together, the Justice League. Wonder Woman, you fight that guy. Superman is going here. Batman's doing that. And Aquaman, you go talk to the fish. And they were laughing at him, and that was a joke.
One of the popular funny jokes of my generation is in Family Guy. They talk about Aquaman and they show a woman being mugged on a beach, and Aquaman's in the water, and he's going, "Oh, if you were in water, I'd be beating you up right now. If only you stepped a couple feet closer to that water, I would be saving the day."
So he was the brunt of a lot of jokes.
Brought them a lot of jokes.
A lot of jokes.
Man Talk to the Fish. Also, SpongeBob SquarePants famously has Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy.
Yeah.
Mermaid Man played by Ernest Borgnine, which is a great parody of Aquaman. If you haven't seen anything of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, I highly recommend looking it up. It's hilarious. They're very good. They were really popular superheroes, and now they live in a nursing home, and they're in their 90s. And it's great.
All right, but that's all goofing on Aquaman. So what you were saying before about it could have been May 10th, it took a long time for people to finally respect Aquaman, for the public to respect him. And I think what this movie is a step forward for DC Comics, who is having a lot of problems
Yes,
right now.
no, DC's going through a lot of issues.
And they were playing catch-up that they
Yes.
shouldn't have. They shouldn't have played catch-up.
Well, yes, no, they have a lot of issues. They're playing catch up to Marvel, but they're not doing it in the right way. They're trying to push all the characters together way too fast instead of doing what Marvel did successfully, which is what works, which is giving everyone their own movie to establish the characters so that way when they cross over, we actually care. And it's not just a bunch of characters being thrown in together, which is what's important, which is what you want to do. Which, unfortunately for Aquaman, he was already in Justice League and now gets his own movie. And you have Jason Momoa, and what I was going to say, you always bring up Peter David, but what really made Aquaman the Aquaman that we know now is Jeff Johns' run of Aquaman in about the past 10 years.
Right.
Which had the Throne of Atlantis storyline, which is pretty much the storyline of the Aquaman film. Which is him trying to trying to take back Atlantis to become the king, because he is the rightful king. And it does have, it's kind of Wet Thor meets Wakanda, meets reverse Black Panther.
Yeah, in a way, but I really like what they did. I like, it is, you could compare it, you could say it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but when the movie is over, you say it was Aquaman. They brought Aquaman to the screen. They did an excellent job bringing Aquaman to the screen, and I wish DC Comics a lot of good fortune for the new year. I hope their other movies come out and they do a better job than they did.
Well, they have
recently.
3 movies coming out next year. They have Shazam, they have the Joaquin Phoenix Joker film,
Yes.
and they have Wonder Woman 1984, the second Wonder Woman film,
Right.
which has a lot riding on it, because Wonder Woman's considered by many the best of the new DC movies.
Yeah,
And I still think so. My thing is, I like Aquaman, not nearly as much as you do. I think Aquaman falls for the fact that the first 40 minutes, minus a couple of scenes, is very maligned. They don't really know what tone they're going for. They don't really know what the movie is. And then close to an hour in, I think, is when they really figured out the tone and they really hit their stride as a movie, and it starts to really know what kind of movie it's trying to be.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I felt like they didn't really know what they were trying to be, and that's kind of brings it down for me. But the rest of the movie is very good, and I love Jason Momoa as Aquaman. And I think Wonder Woman's a better film, but I think Aquaman's an inherently more rewatchable film. I would definitely watch it more.
Yeah, I would too. I agree with that.
All right, so that's Aquaman. We got 2 more movies left. One you watched on Blu-ray.
Yes.
You didn't watch any movies on DVD. And the other you saw in theaters with me, and it was my second time seeing it. And let's go with the other one first. You watched Venom.
I watched Venom.
On Blu-ray. We own it. We own Venom. It's in our house.
Yes, we own it. I thought it was delightful. I really.
It's a fun
movie.
It's bad, but it's fun.
And it's bad, but the critics panned it.
Yes.
But the fans
really enjoyed it.
They really enjoyed it, and made a lot of money at the box office.
Mm-hmm.
It was very successful. I consider it a 21st century B movie.
No, it is.
It's
That's a good way to describe it, I would say.
Right? It's a B movie. It is, and it knows it's a B movie.
It knows what it is.
It knows what it is, and without Tom Hardy in the lead role, it would not be the movie it is. Tom
Hardy makes the film.
Tom Hardy makes the movie. People have compared his performance to Steve Martin in All of Me. I say no. I love Steve Martin in All of Me. I say that don't do that to Tom Hardy. What he did is totally different. It's very different. It's not.
I could see and I haven't watched all of Me. I've seen parts of it through you, but I can see the comparisons with the way his body, like he's moving, but he's not controlling it, and the way he's acting is.
Yeah. But
and you love Steve Martin's performance in All of Me.
I love All of Me, and I think that he was overlooked for an Academy Award for that movie.
So you're saying Tom Hardy's going to be overlooked for an Academy Award?
Oh yeah, definitely overlooked. But because nowadays that was more like trick photography, and that was his acting. That was some overdubbing with Lily Tomlin, because All of Me, Lily Tomlin dies, and her soul goes inside of Steve Martin, and there's just some funny things with it, with the way he is, and it's a total comedy. It was perfect for both of them, and this one now, there's a lot of CGI, so that's what's going to take away from his acting performance. The fact that he actually does look at the Venom sometimes. The Venom comes out of him and looks at him, where to see Lily Tomlin, he would have to look in the mirror.
Yeah.
So that's
and
difference.
he does that a little bit too.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Venom.
he does. But I think that's why Tom Hardy isn't even going to be thought of for an Academy Award, is the fact that the CGI of Venom, which is excellent. The CGI is excellent. Venom is everything from the comic book Venom. They really recreated. They did it. I think they did a good job. Where some superhero movies, they take liberties and they change different things.
They do change some stuff.
They changed some stuff, but they didn't change what Venom looks like.
No, they didn't change the look of
symbiote
Venom or
of
the
symbiote.
personality of the symbiote, but they did change his origin.
Yes.
Because the origin in the comics is Venom first goes to Spider-Man,
Right.
and then he goes, because he's Spider-Man's villain, who then becomes an anti-hero more recently.
Yeah.
He was kind of an anti-hero. He did have his own comic and such, but he was still a villain. And now he's kind of thought of almost like a Wolverine type.
Yeah.
And there's been different people that Venom, because he's a symbiote, he absorbs into someone. He's gone into different people, different bodies, and he's gone into Flash Thompson, who is the bully of Spider-Man, who then becomes Agent Venom. And then he becomes Venom in the Space Knights, and now Venom's a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy in the comic books. And he's in space. So it goes crazy with the character, and also the character. They lightly touch on this in the Venom movie, and I like this. The symbiote, it's a whole planet of symbiotes.
Right.
There's a whole planet. Venom is just one of billions of these types of aliens.
Right.
Which is something they do kind of touch on in Venom. So I
Yeah, they
enjoy
do
that.
touch on it. You know that there was more.
Yeah.
You know that. You get the impression there's a whole planet of it. I think you should see this movie especially if you're a comic book fan, you're a Marvel fan. This is the movie for you. Venom is. I enjoyed it. I saw it.
Yeah, you really liked Venom.
And I really liked it a lot. I really liked it.
So Venom, the film based on Spider-Man, not the best Spider-Man film of the year. That film is the film that I've now seen twice. It's my favorite film of the year. I took you to see it, and it's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse. I totally enjoyed Into the Spider-Verse. I liked it. I think that because a lot of people who are fans of comic book heroes don't necessarily read the comics. So people think, I'm a Spider-Man fan, but then if you see this movie, you might be like, whoa, what? There's a Spider-Man that's a pig? There's a Spider-Man that's a...
I feel like that's not that hard to... Because
there was a TV show, too.
There's been multiple... all of these, except for one of them, are comics, but there's been multiple animated shows that have done the Spider-Verse thing. And it first happened in the 90s when I was a kid. The first time I've seen something like this, I was like 5 years old.
Yeah, so
and
I
they
wasn't
had all
watching
the Spider-Man crossover. And that's a great two-part episode where there's a Spider-Man that's absorbed with Carnage, who's another symbiote like Venom.
Yeah.
And he's taking over, and it takes all of the Spider-Men to get together. And there's another character who they didn't introduce in Spider-Verse that I'm hoping they introduce in the sequel, which is a character called Madam Web, and she kind of controls the different Spider-Man universes. And she's this wise old woman who knows about everything and has spider powers. And I'm hoping that Madam Web does eventually come into it, but that's my first introduction to the different universes. And now we've gone to a world where multiple dimensions and superheroes is not a crazy thing anymore.
No, it's not.
We have the CW verse of DC shows, which are all different worlds, multiverses constantly crossing over.
Yeah, they're doing that now a lot. And so both DC and Marvel have multiple universes of characters. So now to focus on Spider-Man, this Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, they do a great job with that as well. And it might be a little confusing. It was a little confusing for me, but I had my buddy here who could
It's not very confusing.
Well, all right, but then
At your accelerated age.
at my accelerated age. Anyway, I like that there's multiple Spider-Mans. It's a great story. It's a story that cannot be told with live action.
No, you would not be able to make a live action version
You
of
can't make
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
You can't make a live action version of this
Cost
movie.
$700 million.
It would never make its money back. It would be a box office bomb probably. The animation is great, and from what I've been told, the animation is their own, the people who made this movie.
Yeah, Sony Pictures Animation, they want a patent. They want to put a patent on this animation style because it's the first time anyone's done it. It's kind of almost like, it looks like a rotoscope, but it's not, because it's very much like a comic book come to life, which is what I really like about it.
It's definitely, there are movies that you've seen, superhero movies, and even Creepshow, Stephen King's Creepshow, tried to bring comic books to life. And
Yes.
some of these movies you said, wow, that is a comic book to life. No. Spider-Verse changes all that. Spider-Verse sets the bar a lot higher, and Spider-Verse is a comic book. It has the thought balloons. It has the captions.
It has the captions. It has the panel changes.
Panel changes.
Transitions of like flipping a comic page.
Yes,
and it all works in the movie. Ang Lee's the Hulk.
Right.
From 2003 tried that. He tried to do that. He wanted to make it like a comic book come to life, where he did the different panels, and I think he even had word bubbles come up.
He might have, yeah.
They did all that, and it didn't work. It doesn't work in a live action form, but in animated, you can do anything. It works perfectly in an animated form.
In animated, you do feel you're watching a live action comic book.
I think it's more than just an animated movie. It hits on so many different levels, and it's the first movie that I feel like really captures the personality of Spider-Man.
Okay.
It really captures the comic book's form of Spider-Man and what it means to be Spider-Man. And it's not just a Spider-Verse movie. It's the story of Miles Morales, who's quickly become a fan favorite Spider-Man character, who's a newer character, who's a character you know nothing about.
I knew nothing about.
So it's a great way to introduce it to people who know nothing about the character of Miles Morales, who's a great character, who I think they took a lot of things about Peter Parker that people liked and then wanted to change it to being... People wanted a Spider-Man of color. Peter Parker's great, but why can't everyone... The point of Spider-Man is anyone can be Spider-Man. Anyone can get bit by that spider. It can happen to anyone. That's the part of the story, and it's about what you do with that power, and with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
And they do that great, and it's also a great parody of Spider-Man movies.
It is.
They make fun of, I always got to save the world. Oh, Miles Morales says to Peter Parker, with great power comes great responsibility, and he yells at him. He says, "Don't say I'm tired of that line.
Yeah,
it's way overused.
Yeah.
It's way overused. Stop using that." And when the world's gonna end, Peter Parker's like, "I've done this," because the Peter Parker in the film is Peter Parker, who's been Spider-Man for over 20 years.
Yeah.
So he's like, "I've done all this before. There's always somebody going to destroy the world, and you have 24 hours before everything's going to destroy." And he doesn't even pay attention when the villain's doing a monologue, because he's like, "I know what they're saying. It's bad. It's all bad.
Yeah.
Nothing they're saying is good."
I really enjoyed the movie a lot. I highly recommend you see it. You hit on a point. I don't remember what
Peter Parker, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, great power comes great responsibility.
Okay, no, I know.
Liev Schreiber's great as the Kingpin.
Peter Parker is from Queens. Miles Morales
is from
Brooklyn.
And there's a difference. There's a difference in the dichotomy there.
Yes, and they do a great job with that, of Miles being from Brooklyn. And I think it's cool, because I think it's cool to bring a Spider-Man from Brooklyn into it.
Yes.
Because Brooklyn always has to be involved in something. Brooklyn, it's been a while. So Marvel does all over
Captain
New
America's
York.
from Brooklyn?
Yeah, he's from Brooklyn.
Old-timey Brooklyn.
Old-timey Brooklyn. That's
one of my favorite in Civil War, when Captain America and Spider-Man have that fight. And Captain America's like about to leave, and he's like, "Oh, you're a good kid. Where are you from, kid?" And he's like, "Queens." And he goes, "Huh, like Brooklyn." Like, "Oh, like we're not that different, you and me. This kid trying to fight me, Spider-Man, young kid, all these powers." And he's like, "Oh, you're from Queens. I'm from Brooklyn. Like, we're practically brothers."
Yeah, right.
Then he runs off.
So, and that was cool that Miles Morales is from Brooklyn. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I can't recommend Into the Spider-Verse enough.
Same here.
If you're pushed off being like, "Oh, it's an animated Spider-Man movie, it might be too kiddie," it's not. There is humor in it. And if the Spider-Ham and the different stuff really, you're like, "Oh, I don't want to see all that," it's only in the movie for the amount that it needs to be. It's minimal. The movie is Miles Morales' story with Peter Parker and with Gwen Stacy also.
Yeah.
Those three are the biggest roles.
I highly recommend it. If you like reading a comic book, then you will thoroughly enjoy this movie.
If you like superhero movies, if you've enjoyed a Spider-Man film, you will love this movie.
Yes, I agree.
So that's all the movies that you've seen.
That's
we
all the movies
covered
I've
every
seen.
single one.
Every single one.
We did all of them. I
All
saw
of them.
more. I saw 15/17 to Paris, the other Clint Eastwood movie that came out this year, about 3 soldiers who thwarted a train terrorist attack in Paris a few years ago. And the actors are the people, the real people
Right,
themselves. And I feel like that's all I need to tell you to show you that the acting's not very good and the film's kind of a nothing film. It's an amazing act that they did. It's an amazing thing. I'm happy that it was able to be captured into a film, but it didn't really work as a movie to me. And the acting's not very good, but it doesn't take away from this amazing, heroic thing that these men did. And I'm happy that someone did make a movie out of it. But I think Clint Eastwood's style as a director didn't lend himself to this movie very well. He has a very specific style as a filmmaker.
Right.
He does everything in one take, very minimalist, and it didn't really work for this movie, especially with these kids who've never acted before.
He
But,
tried something. Yeah.
he tried something, and I give him a lot of credit for it. And it doesn't take anything away from these men's amazing
Okay.
accomplishment and heroic.
All right. I would like to show a trailer now.
You want to show a trailer?
I want
Let's
to show a trailer. I want to show a trailer.
One of them. It doesn't matter which one. We're just going to play one.
Just
We're
play
gonna put
one,
on
and
a
then we'll
trailer.
talk about it after.
It's going to be a trailer. It's going to be any trailer. We're just going to go to it right now.
For many years, people have believed that Sherlock Holmes was the greatest detective in the world. But is it possible that there could exist another human being whose mental powers go even beyond those of the master? Hello, what's this? It's Sherlock Holmes' smarter brother. Starring Gene Wilder.
Do you have a brother whose first name is Sherlock?
I do not.
You do have a brother.
I do.
Might I inquire as to his first name?
Sheer luck.
Madeline Kahn.
I thought so sweet as little dimple in
As Jenny Hill.
How do you do? My name is Bessie Bellwood.
Liar.
Oh, you don't fool around, do you?
Marty Feldman as a man with a photographic sense of hearing.
Due to ill health, your brother has decided to take a short vacation in the country. Oh, not very long, 2 or 3 days at most, but he would very much appreciate, if you would handle one of his...
A tale of amazing feats of deduction.
Haderd. Unless I'm very much mistaken, haderd is the Egyptian word meaning to eat fat. Hey! I'm here!
Dom DeLuise as the king of all the blackmailers.
None touch of the money.
You got a lovely race.
And you got a lovely race.
Come on and...
Hop, 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 come and do the kangaroo. Hop, 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 that's the dance for me and you. If you're over 80, you can now. But hopping about the parlor is the very latest style. Come on and hop, 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 hop. Hear the music go and
The adventure of Sherlock Holmes' smarter brother.
Oh, taxi! Come along, the others look small. Come and
Wow.
Wow, that now, for people who want to see a funny Sherlock Holmes movie, that is the movie for you.
Sherlock
It's a-
Holmes' smarter brother.
Smarter Brother. It's a forgotten classic comedy, and a lot of people love those guys. You love Gene Wilder, Marty Feldman.
And it feels like a Mel Brooks movie, but it's not a Mel Brooks
It's
movie.
not a Mel Brooks movie. It's not.
It's not a Mel, but it has those same people.
Those same people, and Gene Wilder in the commentary said that he didn't write it until they both agreed to do the movie with him. And a lot of Dom DeLuise's stuff was improv.
Oh, okay.
So he improv'd it, and they liked it so much they filmed it, and then they would write it after. Then they would say, okay, Dom, because Dom DeLuise has some really funny stuff in it. The guy at the end that goes, taxi, with the big hand.
Yeah.
He was the dad of the girl in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the girl that blew up into the big blueberry.
Yeah.
He was the dad, so Gene Wilder knew him. But when everybody signed on, then he wrote it, and he was just coming off of Young Frankenstein, so it has that. It's very original. What I like about it, it's original because
Sherlock Holmes, very original, never been done before.
No. Marty Feldman's character, he has photographic hearing.
Oh,
So he has photographic.
very well known.
So he has to smack himself in the head, which you saw in the trailer. But in the movie, he smacks himself in the head, and then he recites something he heard, like a conversation he overheard.
That's funny.
So what do you have? You have a file on this Serengeti guy? He hits himself, and there's one scene where he keeps trying to do it, and he keeps getting interrupted. So he keeps getting, and then he has to smack himself and do it again.
It keeps smacking yourself in the head and knock the hat off.
Knocking my hat off. But I love this movie. I own it because of how much I saw it in the theaters when it came out. I think it's a great comedy. I did want to see Holmes and Watson. I have not heard good reviews on it, so I will wait for it to become available.
A lot of people have been walking out. A lot of people are saying it's the worst film that Will Ferrell's ever made.
It's sad because
very sad.
When you saw that trailer, you thought, here's two guys that could pull it off.
That could do something like that very funny because Step Brothers is one of my favorite comedies of all time. So is Talladega Nights. I love Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
I think Talladega Nights is a great parody of, NASCAR, and it's a great story being told that's not really based on anything. It's just this great, almost borderline fantastical story of this crazed race car driver that's just obsessed with being first and winning and going fast.
Yeah.
He stole his mom's car at 3 years old, going, "I want to go fast. I want to go fast."
Those movies are great, and so you thought Will Ferrell.
And they're always a team. So you think Holmes and Watson, that's the most well-known team.
You think they would, yeah. So, but if you were disappointed by that, see Sherlock Holmes' Smarter Brother, where Sherlock Holmes and Watson do have a small role in the movie, but it is about his younger brother, that kind of is envious. So instead of being envious, he just hates his brother and calls him sheer luck.
Sheer luck.
Sheer luck. And he has a case to solve. And I love this movie. It makes me laugh.
Now, my only thing with the movie, and I brought this up to you, it's Sherlock Holmes' smarter brother. Sherlock Holmes has a brother.
Yes.
Who is smarter.
Right.
But his name's Mycroft Holmes, and that's not what this movie's about.
This movie's not about Mycroft because I guess Gene Wilder didn't want to get sued. So he decided, let me just create another brother.
See, that's what I find funny, because I'm like, Mycroft Sherlock Holmes has a smarter brother named Mycroft.
And maybe that's what inspired, that could possibly
he was played by Stephen Fry in the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes, and he's played by Hugh Laurie in Holmes and Watson. They have such a great cast for that movie.
So
Hugh Laurie, of Dr. House of House fame.
Yeah, of House fame. He plays his brother. So maybe that's where he got the idea of Sherlock Holmes' smarter brother, but decided to have Sigerson Holmes. So he's still an S. Holmes.
Yeah.
So he's Sigerson Holmes, and he's an amazing character. So this way he could come out with an original character, not get sued, and have a funny. And it was a very funny movie. And
I know you're a huge fan of it.
I'm a big fan of it, and it's probably my favorite of. Gene Wilder didn't direct a lot of movies, but it's my favorite. It was his first to direct, and he even mentions Mel Brooks even helped him make
He helped him with it?
He helped him with it. So he even does some overdubbing in it.
Okay.
But I really I enjoyed that. The movies that we reviewed today. So if I would say that of all the movies, I would say yes, go see Spider-Man. I would say see that Aquaman 2. You would love Aquaman. The Mule, I would wait. I could
don't need
wait.
to see
You
it in
don't need to
theaters.
see it in the theater. I would wait. And A Quiet Place and Bird Box. Definitely see them
I highly
both.
recommend A Quiet Place. It was very successful. I think a lot of people, it's on a lot of people's watch list, must-watch list. So I
right.
recommend that. I haven't seen Bird Box, but it is on my watch list. I'm hoping to watch it soon.
And Bird
When I'm
Box,
back
as you
from
said,
when I'm back from the Serengeti.
Bird Box got over 40 million views already.
Yes.
So Bird Box is doing quite well. So nobody cares what you think about it. Just see it, and if you like it, you like it.
Yeah, and if you don't,
you
talk
know.
about it on Facebook. So is everybody else.
Yeah, everybody else.
And any other and Venom. And
Oh, Venom, I highly recommend. You should see it. It's available now. It's available. You can get it on demand. Soon you'll be able
you
to.
can get it anywhere.
You can get it anywhere. So I highly recommend
You
you,
can get
see
it from
it.
a homeless guy, your local delicatessen.
But if you
can
get
it
the
anywhere.
if you get the Blu-ray, you will be able to see deleted scenes. You'll see there's actually a video because Eminem does the theme song.
for the music video, Venom.
There's a Venom music video with Eminem. So there's a lot of great features on Blu-ray. You can't get it on the regular DVD, but
because it's archaic.
okay, but Blu-ray.
And we're kind of winding down to the end. I know there's a couple of things you want to talk about book-wise.
Book-wise, I want to talk about. I got a couple of great books for Christmas.
From somebody.
From a wonderful human being. So I'd like to show the cover of either one of these first. There's one Lou and
You got the Lou Reed.
Lou Reed.
Why don't you start talking about
All
it?
right, we'll talk about it. I got this great book. That's a book on Lou Reed, and it's called Lou Reed, and it's a life, and it is everything you want to know about Lou Reed. For those of you who don't know, Lou Reed was considered. You could consider him one of the pioneers of punk rock and roll, of the punk rock era.
Yes.
Him and again, I can't. I don't know
Other
what's that
people.
name. Him and another guy they were considered the punk rock guys. Lou. This book covers everything. This book covers Lou from Long Island, from when he grew up. He was born in Brooklyn. They moved to Long Island when he was young. He went to Freeport High School. He went college. He's a New York boy. Was a New York City man, as they called him. Met up with Andy Warhol. Was in one of the founding members of the band, the Velvet Underground. Then he went solo, and his dealings with David Bowie. This book covers everything. It's a great book. I highly recommend it. I'm so happy my son got this for me. Without me, I didn't even know the book existed. It happens that the book came out
Recently.
Just came out
Within the
recently.
past year.
So you can get it in your friendly neighborhood bookstores.
Yeah, and
And,
you don't
you
need
can
the
get it
photo. It's a
online.
picture. It's Lou Reed on the
It's
cover.
Lou Reed on the cover, and it's Lou Reed, a life. And
the other book that you got.
the other book was a comic book I got, a Marvel comic book, and it's Night of the Living Deadpool. Night of the Living Deadpool. And it is Deadpool in a zombie apocalypse. And Deadpool happened to go somewhere, ate a whole bunch of tacos, fell asleep at the table, woke up, and everybody is a zombie. And it has the tongue-in-cheek humor of a Deadpool story. It's funny in a way. It's sad, it's a great Deadpool graphic novel.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
knew
great-
you'd enjoy it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Because you love zombies, you love Night of the Living Dead, and you love Deadpool. So
I love The
everything
Walking
coming
Dead,
together.
and this is a different take on. So if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, there's a different take on zombies. It's a bit different.
It's
but,
Deadpool.
It's Deadpool.
It's not Walking Dead.
It's not Walking Dead. It's Night of the Living
Living
Deadpool, and I highly recommend that one as well.
All right. Well, that's the show.
That's our show.
That's the show. Like I said, I'm gonna be in the Serengeti for a couple weeks, so you're not gonna see me.
I'll be here.
You'll be here. We're still gonna have a show.
Still gonna have a show.
We have a big things happening this year. By the end of January, maybe middle, to the end of February, the beginning of March. Some new things are going to be happening.
Yes.
Some big things. Maybe in September. Who knows? Big things
soon,
are gonna be
real
happening for
soon,
this
and there's
show.
going to be a lot of fun and a few fun changes on this show.
Few fun changes.
Yeah, few things. We,
Bring live animals onto the show this year. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah,
We're getting the giraffe in studio.
and
no.
and a Yeti.
Okay, now you ruined the joke. Well, guys, have a safe rest of your new year. Well, beginning of the new year.
Happy New Year, everybody! Thanks for watching.
New Year.
Benny
We'll see
TV.
you soon.
Ryan Rizzuti, Benny Rizzuti, wishing you all a great 2019.
Have a good one.